Hey guys, and welcome to Tech and More Tech. Today we're going to be taking a look at the iPhone 8 Plus. Now this year, Apple released three new iPhones, the 8, the 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. I really want to focus on the 8 Plus, so I'm not going to mention the 10 until the very end. The 8 and 8 Plus are what would be called the 7S and 7S Plus any other year. If I had to guess, they picked the 8 name because of the Galaxy S8 and the Note 8 and for marketing purposes, basically. Regardless, these aren't the phones with a big redesign or anything, they're just modest upgrades like you would expect from an S-line phone. The differences between the 8 and 8 Plus are the usual. Larger screen, dual cameras, and a new camera feature called portrait lighting, but we'll get to that in a minute. So what's new with the iPhone 8? Well, design-wise they're pretty much the same as before, but they now have a glass back. There are two benefits to the glass back. The first one is that the phones are finally grippy. Unless you had a jet black iPhone 7 last year, you'll know that the phones for the past 3 years have been incredibly slippery because of the smooth aluminum finish. The glass back also makes the phone a little bit heavier, but in a kind of substantial, sturdy kind of way, though it might be a little bit unwieldy to some. The second benefit to the glass back is that we finally have wireless charging on the iPhone. Yes, I know Android phones have had this for years now, but it's no reason why we can't be excited to have it too. Happily, Apple didn't go with some proprietary standard either. It uses the regular Qi wireless charging standard. So that means that any Qi compatible charger will charge your iPhone. The wireless charging works exactly the way you would assume it would. Take your phone, place it down, and it charges. Slowly though. It charges at about the same rate as the normal 5-watt wall plug that comes with the phone. So overnight it's not a problem, but if you want a quick last minute charge, wireless charging is not the way to go. The battery life on the iPhone 8 Plus is great, same as all the other plus size iPhones. For me, from 6 a.m. to about 10 p.m., I'm still left with about 30% charge, so not an issue. Ideally, maybe you can get a day and a half out of it, but realistically, you're going to end up charging this phone every night anyways. Now, before we move on, I want to call out Apple on their charging option. On their website, it says that the new iPhone 8 and 8 Plus support fast charging. Awesome. However, it says that they use the 29-watt USB-C MacBook charger with a USB-C to Lightning cable. That's $80 worth of additional accessories you have to buy to get the fast charging feature. In the box, you get the same 5-watt charger you've gotten for the past 7 years. This is the 2017 equivalent of starting your phone with 16 gigabytes of storage. Just cut it out. First step, change all the chargers to USB-C. Anyone that needs a USB charger can still get one of these, or they probably have about 50 of them lying around their house. Step 2, all of the iPhone chargers should be replaced with the iPad chargers, and then all the iPad chargers should be replaced with a 29-watt MacBook charger. Problem solved. And the camera's been updated as well. And if there's one thing you can rely on, it's that every year Apple's going to bring a new camera update. And this year is no different. The rear cameras are still 12 megapixel each, but they have a new sensor underneath that's now faster and larger. It's better in low light photography with less background noise, and the portrait mode feature is even better now with sharper images and more natural background blur. There's a new feature called portrait lighting, which uses the camera to analyze your face and can apply simulated lighting effects. What's cool is that you can apply these effects after the fact too. It's still in beta, so it's not perfect, but it's a neat feature. So expect a lot of these types of photos on Instagram. The rear cameras now also support 4K at 60 frames a second, which is really impressive. I don't think any other phone does that. With the iPhone 7, I'd always have to go back and forth between choosing the smoother 60 frames a second at about 1080p resolution, or the more detailed 4K resolution but only 30 frames a second. Now you get the best of both worlds. The slow motion has also been updated, so now it shoots 240 frames a second at full 1080p. Quick tangent, why are the camera settings not in the camera app? I hate that I have to go into settings, and then camera settings, and then choose which frames per second or resolution I want to pick. It's not as big of a deal now with 4K 60 frames a second, but it's incredibly frustrating that it's like a 5-step process when it could just be a toggle in the camera app. Please fix this. The front camera is pretty much the same as before. It's slightly better in low light and has less overall background noise. So basically your selfies will continue to look great. The display has the same screen size and screen resolution as before. However, it has a new feature called True Tone. Basically what True Tone does is it automatically adjusts the white balance of your screen depending on the ambient light of your environment. So if the lights around you are a little more orangey, then the screen will be a little more orangey as well to compensate, to look more natural to your eye. If you're outside or if you have like fluorescent lights, they're going to be a little bit cooler, a little bit more blue, so the screen will also be a little bit more blue, again, so it's easier on your eyes. It means that the colors won't always be 100% accurate on your screen, but it is a trade-off because it is a much nicer screen to look at on a day-to-day basis. It's not something you're going to notice immediately, but what you will notice is when you turn it off or use a phone that doesn't have True Tone, you'll notice how the colors don't always look quite right. All these new features are powered by the new A11 Bionic chip in the iPhone. It's a custom 6-core chip that has 4 high-efficiency cores that are 70% faster than the iPhone 7's 810 chip and 2 high-performance cores that are 25% faster than the outgoing 810 chip. Based on various benchmarking results, this is by far and away the fastest chip in any smartphone out there. And it's about on par with a MacBook Pro 13-inch at certain tasks as well. Now you most likely won't notice this in day-to-day usage. You won't be tweeting any faster or anything like that. But it does mean that the shutter lag, for example, is almost completely gone from the camera. And it means that you will be able to power all the augmented reality apps that are to come. Augmented reality apps have been around since almost the beginning of the smartphone. I remember playing janky AR games on my T-Mobile G1 9 years ago, but they really haven't come very far until now. Apple released the AR Kit to developers to help create more powerful, more immersive AR apps. Right now they're just fun little demos like being able to place furniture in your house, or being able to use the camera as a ruler to measure things. But what's really exciting is that since Apple is pushing AR, more people are going to find out about AR, which means that we're going to get better and more powerful apps. For example, the MLB app is going to be updated so you can take your phone out at the baseball game, point the camera at a player, and it'll show their stats and stuff. Of course, with every new iPhone comes a new iOS, and this year we're in iOS 11. I don't want to get too much into iOS 11 because there is going to be a full review of that. However, the one feature that I want to highlight that pertains specifically to the big phone is the new keyboard. So with the new keyboard, what you can do is now you can make the keyboard left or right oriented. So if you want to type with one hand, but it's a little bit too wide of a screen or too wide of a phone to hold with one hand, this makes it easier. So this is everything that's new with the iPhone 8. But that always brings us to the golden question. Should you buy it? So let's start with price. The iPhone 8 starts at $699 for the 64 gig and $849 for the 256 gigabyte. The iPhone 8 Plus is $100 more than that on both ends. They've raised the base price $50 this year, but they've also doubled the storage from 32 to 64, so it's a welcome trade-off. Of course, the differences between the 8 and 8 Plus are subtle. It really just comes down to, do you want a bigger phone? If you're still not sure if you're comfortable with having a bigger phone, just go down to your local Apple store and hold them both. But the real debate isn't between the 8 and the 8 Plus. It's with the 10. Now, the iPhone 10 doesn't come out until November 3rd, and supposedly supply is going to be quite strained until early 2018. It also starts at $1,000. The iPhone 10 is the future of the iPhone. It has a bezel-less design, has an OLED screen, and it's replacing Touch ID with Face ID. But here's the thing. The iPhone 8 has the same A11 Bionic chip as the iPhone 10, so it's just as fast. It has the same wireless charging, and has the same cameras, but at a $200 to $300 discount. So if you want the latest and greatest, you're going to get the iPhone 10. There's no question about it. However, if you still have an iPhone 6 or 6S, and you don't care about having the latest and greatest, and you don't want to spend $1,000 on a phone, the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus are still fantastic phones to buy. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll get to them as best I can. Be sure to subscribe for more videos and reviews coming out, and see you guys next time.